Good evening, everybody, and welcome to week 2 of our Web Solutions Winning with Web Solutions Team Contest and 12-week action plan. I am actually I think this is probably the most important topic of any topic that we're going to cover. I mean, they're all incredible. They're all going to have lots of value, but the process of building a qualified appointment is a process that many web center owners tend to rush, and they schedule these appointments somewhat prematurely. And so, everybody's so focused on selling appointments, selling appointments, selling appointments that we're rushing the process before the appointment. And then the appointment doesn't go exactly how we wanted it to go. And then oftentimes we're left somewhat disappointed because we're not getting the result that we wanted. And really what that comes down to is the amount of qualification that happened prior to the appointment. So the more qualified the appointment that you set, the more likely you're going to have some sort of sale. And so that's what tonight is completely dedicated to, is teaching you the difference between a qualified appointment and an unqualified appointment, and also the steps and the process for getting more qualified appointments. We say it all the time that we need to have qualified appointments, and 1 in 3 qualified appointments will end in a sale. And, we say the buzzwords all the time, but what we're going to do tonight is really break it down for you for what those appointments mean, how to get them more qualified, and why it matters. So last week in your exercise of the week, one of the things that we asked you to do was map out your strategic plan for the next 12 weeks for your contest period. And in that strategic plan, we factored in if how many qualified appointments you should be aiming to gather if you wanted to statistically create the number of sales that you were trying to create during the 12-week period. And the reason we said that is because the sales team has a 38% closing ratio, which is a little bit better than 1 out of 3 qualified appointments will end in a sale. So if you want to make 1 sale, then statistically, if you want to be on track to do that, you should schedule 3 qualified appointments. So what we're going to do tonight is Xuan Lim, one of our team leaders, also certified web center trainers and former web center trainers of the year, is going to actually break down what a qualified appointment is, the 6 areas of qualification for every single appointment and how you should be assessing yourself on those areas of qualification, and other things that you can do to increase the quality. Now, keep in mind, again, that, I think for sure over the last 2 years, we've really finessed this process and really just kind of verbalized that stuff that happens in between. Now, I know for myself as an experienced web center owner, and for people like Xuan and Russell and Jason and, and Linda and all of the other folks that, are team leaders and have been selling for a while, we tend to explain our process, and there's little things that we do that, we take for granted because they're just part of what we do, and we forget that those are things that need to be taught to new web center owners. So we want to kind of bring those little things to light. And those little things to light that we're going to bring could be as simple as smiling when you talk to people, and not rushing the process, and taking the time to ask questions rather than go into presentation mode, and, respecting respecting their timing, and, all of the little things that if you can figure out how to perfect that part of the process, then by the time you schedule the appointment, it's so qualified, it's so vetted that your closing ratio could even be better than 1 in 3. And so that's why it's so important to focus on the pre-appointment stuff that happens, because what happens prior to the appointment really sets the foundation and lays the groundwork for what happens during and after the appointment. So whether you're an experienced web center owner or you're a brand new one, this is a very important topic to consider and to really delve into. I know that for myself, I'm always looking at different parts of the process to think about and decide, where am I excelling, where can I improve, and how can I become even more effective and more efficient. So again, to do that tonight, we've got 2 team leaders. Our first speaker of the night is team leader, former Web Center Trainer of the Year and certified Web Center trainer, Shwen Lim. And she's going to walk you through the material. And then as we're going through the PowerPoint, one of the things that it's going to lead up to is actually using the sales calendar. The sales calendar actually has some new features that have been added to it. So Linda Hill, who's another team leader and an experienced Web Center owner, actually lives in my town. We have our kids go to the same school. Um, she's going to actually walk you through the process of using the sales calendar to properly set up a sales demonstration or a sales appointment for your prospects. Because we keep saying, once you're ready, schedule the appointment. She's going to show you exactly how to do that, and she's going to highlight the new feature and just make sure that you are familiar with the process, that you understand little things like making sure the time zone is right and, filling in your correct information and things like that. At the end, I will wrap it up and talk about our action items of the week. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to switch presentation mode over to Ms. Schwen, and she's going to take it from there. Okay, hold on one second. Schwen, can you go back to the previous slide? I just had to unmute you there for a second. So go ahead and say something.
Yes, I got it. Thank you,
Okay,
Sarah.
good.
Can
I'm
you hear
going
me
to
now?
myself, and I'm going to let you go ahead and take it from here. Thanks, Schwen.
All right, thank you. Wow. Good evening, everyone. This is one of the very important topic, and I love to talk about that. And so, if you have your 12-week action plan note, take it out. It's on one of the week 2, and you will see that there are 6 categories. So, what is a qualified appointment? Now, last week you write down all the name lists, and you went through some of the appointment types, and you're ready to set appointment. Like what Sarah has just mentioned, sometimes we got too excited, okay, to just set appointment. Before setting that appointment, there are some procedure if we can just, qualify our appointment, qualify our prospect, that will land us in a more successful appointment. Okay, let's look at the first category. Now, there are 6 categories here. So if you have a pen or a pencil with you, I'd like you to jot down some of the notes. Now, they say to teach is to learn again. When I'm doing this, I'm also learning. When I see there's a blank spaces here for the access, for the experienced web center owner, what you can do is check upon yourself and which are the area that you can improve upon. For the newcomer, stay cool, stay easy. Let's go through it. All right, so now if you have an appointment, you want to make sure that do they have any decision maker. So when we talk about decision maker, anyone who can input or who can change the decision. For example, the business owner's partners, the business owner's co-worker, the business owner's IT staff, or even the business owner's spouses or their children. All this can be a decision factors that affect their decision making. All right. For example, I have make appointment, and this secretary say, my boss say I can make all the decision. Is it okay if I just go through the appointment? I will talk to her and say, oh, that would be good. Well, if your boss can be around, that would be cool. Oh, my boss is traveling. I said, never mind. I can still, work with his time. We can conference him, and so you don't have to take the burden of sharing what you're going to see, to your boss. So this is like a very short, simple conversation that I'm qualifying because I do not want that secretary to explain whatever she's going to see to her boss. She would never do a better job than our product specialist. Got it? So you want to make sure and ask them if they have anyone else who would like to see the platform, and then so we want to ask them this. Second one, budget. As we say, we do not want to tell them the price beforehand, but this is one of the things that I always like to ask my prospective client. I'll say, well, do you advertise anywhere? Do you have a current website or online presence? Do you have any budget? These are the little questions that lead to the kind of budget, the kind of clients they are. They are. One of my clients came to me and say, Trent, I just want a very simple e-commerce website. So I said, well, so what is your budget? He told me 10K. When he told me 10K, I was like, okay, they need a custom programming site. You get what I mean? So this is like a little question here and there when you ask them. Don't worry about all this little thing. If we will talk about the 50 minutes consultation form, that is where all these questions will be listed and you can ask them. But back in your mind, you wanted to know that these are the category, these are the elements that you want to use to qualify if that prospective clients is a good fit. All right. Talking about interest level, you don't want to jump too fast into making an appointment. When I first meet my clients, I may spend 1 or 2 appointments getting to know them, all right, and see where's their interest level. Uh, some some clients, they just want to know what you have, you know. So when you're talking to them, you don't want to put them into a defensive mode. You want them to be in a conversation mode. Oh, okay, so why are you looking at this platform? And you want to try to find a hot button. Is this a potential fit? Why? Because people may come to you because they are shopping for future needs. There are two kinds of clients. One, they need your solution because they need to fix it now. They have a problem with their website, they want to fix it now. The other is, I just want to shop. We might need a website, in the future. I just want to shop around and see, what you have on hand. So you want to see the interest level. At the same time, that leads to the timing. Are they motivated to go now? If they see what we're going to show them, are they going to buy it now? Or are they just doing the research stage? Do they have a tight time schedules? People always come to you and say, I need a website yesterday. So they wanted to push you. Do you have that time schedule for them? These are the little things you can ask them. Many often, I have restaurant owner came to me and say, Chuan, I need a website. I said, very cool. When are you going to open your restaurant? Next week. I was like, what? Next week? I said, yeah. Now that I know I need a website. See, so they have a tight time schedules. And so you want to make sure that you know their timing, okay? And you also want to respect your prospect timing. Last week, I have another prospect that say, Chuan, I would like you to make me another website. Well, she's a returned customer. I say, cool. So when do you need it? Probably in April. So if she need it in April, I'm not going to push her to do a demo right now. She said, oh, my coworker will be in next April. Cool. So I know that, my appointment time will be much later than that. I don't have to push them to do an appointment right now. Okay. But if I'm going to show them that I'm going to give them a discount during some of the holiday seasons, this is what I'm going to do. Hey, it's Thanksgiving holidays. We're running a special. I know you need a website. Do you think you want to take advantage of this? So this is timing. This is something that some of the clients need it, but they're sitting on it. They can't make decision. Then you apply, some kind of little pressure to exercise this time sensitivity. All right. Then clarity. Your role is important. You need to have a strong answer to what you do. I know some of the WCO, Web Center owner, you face this problem. Who am I? I'm not the IT guy. I'm just an average person. How do I bring to my potential customer that someone from ME Web Centers is going to do the demo? You have kind of like a little fear here and there. Okay, I have two things that I would like to share here. Me as a web designer, I'm an industry professional, but I can actually do the walkthrough by myself. But how do I bring in the product specialist? The way I do it is, cool, I have all your information here. I know you're ready to go. Have you bought a car before? When you want to buy a car, we take you out and do a test drive. And guess what? This company that I work with, they actually likes to provide a demo for you, free demo to walk you through to see if you really like the platform before we can talk further. So this is how I prepared my potential customers. So they wouldn't take in shock like, oh, so Chuan, you are not the one who's showing me the demo, but you do have someone else showing me. Yeah. So, but if you are not an industry professional, fine, you can still do the same thing. The company that I work with, they have an entire team who may be able to answer your questions. When are you available? I like them to show you the demo because I don't specialize in this area, but they have the product specialist who's going to show you what they can do for you. See, this is the way you need to clarify your role. All right. Then finally, talking about confirmation. Now, confirming the attendance with your potential clients is very, very important. I never shy away from this. I will contact them 24 hours before the appointment that I set. I'm not afraid that they will cancel upon me. If you want to cancel, fine, I'll reschedule it. Why? Because by confirming the appointment 24 hours before, it shows your professionalism. And I even confirm again half an hour before because they may run into some other emergency. I have a school principal. When I confirmed with her half an hour before the appointment, she was like, Tran, I'm so sorry. One of my teachers was ill and I need to sub. I said, no problem, go ahead. That is very important. Let's reschedule. By me doing so, she found that I wasn't giving her any pressure, and she liked the kind of professionalism that we have. Okay, so confirm your attendance with your prospective clients and ask them if there's any decision maker who will be online, and then make sure that is that the correct number that you should call them. And finally, ask them, our product specialists are very friendly people. You want to write down your questions in advance so that you can ask them while they're doing the online demo. Sounds right? All right. Wouldn't you agree when you do just a little bit of research about your prospect? Here, prospect refers to the potential customers. Okay. If you know a little bit about your prospect in advance, it leads to you better prepared in conversing with them, in talking to them. When do you need to do this? Before you contact your prospect, right? How? You Google them, you write out one or two things that notice. Sometimes I just go to Yap and look at their business and see how other people comment them, right? And with all this information that you were doing, it's like what we did in our unfranchised business or the form, right? FORM. You have you have something solid to ask questions. You are actually doing the data mining process. Then we also have the 15 minutes consultation form that we can help you, right? All these 15 minutes consultation form, you will see it in a minute. It helps you to qualify your appointment, qualify your decision maker, qualify whatever what I have shared just now on the previous slides, okay? When to do it, again, this is before the appointment or before your client is ready to commit to an appointment, right? Where can you find them? You can download it from Emmy Web Centers. Okay, cool. You see on your 12-week action plan, week 2, on the top part, you can actually see this. Research your prospects by checking Google, Bing, and so on, by newspaper. And I went to Yelp and take a look at them. Yeah. And this is how you want to put that. I put down the business name, research, okay, Google or Yelp. And you want to write down the question that you wanted to ask, okay? Um, do they have social media? Are they running any apps, any ad, Google ads? Do they have a website? Is the content up to date? Is their website mobile friendly? Can you actually find them on Google? Um, Let me see. Are they on? Yeah. Do they do any traditional advertising and so on and so on? So these are the little notes that you can ask, and then you can click here what kind of 15 minutes consultation that you prepared to do with that potential client. Okay,
Yeah, and Sean,
that's a
just
big
to jump in for a second, one
check.
of the things that I have found is that, like, so first of all, this was one of the things we asked everybody to do last week, right? We said, hey, it's a good idea to Google each of the prospects on your names list this week and find one or two things that stand out to you. And I mean, obviously, when you see one or two things that pop out, you're more motivated to make the phone call. But more than that, you're armed with really good questions. So the reason why we have that third column in there, questions to ask, is because sometimes what we have found with especially new web center owners, when you do your prospect research and you find, oh, it looks like they're not using social media, or hey, your website looks like it's not mobile friendly, we find that people get nervous, and so they make that initial contact, and they end up like kind of babbling in presentation mode, and they start basically saying all the things they found wrong with the person's website. And all that does is it puts your prospect in instant defense mode where now they feel like they have to defend their situation rather than converse with you. And like Schwen said, you guys, you want people to be in conversation mode. And so if you want them to be out of defense mode and in conversation mode, the way to do that is to ask questions. So the reason we have that column there is so you can look at the research that you found, and then use it and form the questions you're going to ask so that you know exactly what you're going to ask them and you don't have to worry about getting nervous or saying the wrong thing.
Yeah, I can't agree enough. Thank you. I do have a real life example. Okay, good. I have a scientist that came to me, and when I did the research, he already had a very nice website done. So I went through his website and I click, and I was like, okay, now I know why, because there are a lot of bells and whistles. Okay, so when I went to him, the question I asked is, you already had a very nice website. Why do you need me to look at your website? So then he started to tell me the rest of the stuff, and you can see me on my Facebook, and that page, that site, it took us just 1 month to get it up and running, and the clients was very pleased with that. Should I did not do any research, I didn't even know what to ask him. Okay, and right here. We have three types of consultation form that we could help you. The first one is all about WebSolutions, their website. So you can print it from mawc41.coms. I remember there was one time when I met with my clients, I printed this out and I put it in a folder. And when I sit down with her, we chit chat for a while and I took it out and asked her questions. She told me, she said, wow, you look so professional. My previous web designer didn't even have this to ask me. So, in fact, this form helps you to take away a lot of fear from you, because when you have that right in front of you, you can just fill in their names, dates, or just, staple the business card and then start ask them. So what is the tell me a little bit about your business. What do you do primarily? Oh, I'm a doctor. I'm a chiropractor. Oh, cool. Do you have a secondary focus? Yeah, sometimes I give talks, I give seminar. So right in your mind, you know that, this is what they're doing. And then you went on and asked him, do you do any advertising? Do you have a website? Right? And who updates your website? So these are the questions that you can ask and you circle. How happy are you with your website designed? So, and so on. And what if you have a potential client who already had a website? You can still ask them some other question, right? And say, okay, cool. Do you use social media for personal use? Do you advertise on Google? Do you use Google AdWords? And is your business seasonal or year round? So these are kind of questions that you can just ask and circle, but don't do three survey at the same time. Just do one, okay, and see where during your conversation you will know what is the best one to use it. What if they do not need any website or not even digital marketing, and it seems like it's not a good candidates for your website, uh, web centers? You can bring this out. Oh, okay. So do you shop online? So this is the one. Do you shop online? And then yes or no, just carry on and list the top 5 stores that you shop at. Da, 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 da. And then I'll take it back. This is what I'll do. I'll go back and I'll search, from our store, what are the stores that, can help them and cashback, and I'll call them up and I'll follow up with them. And thank you so much, Sarah, for helping me, with that 15 minutes consultation. Here, I got some good news for you. Can we come out for a one-to-one, or can we talk on the phone? Or I can actually snap a pictures and text to them. They really appreciate, because we are helping them save some money. All right. So all this form can be downloaded from mawc41.com, or you can order it from. Yep.
Yeah,
Yes.
go back one more time. Sorry. Also wanted to let you know that those are actually we're gonna have to order more because if they're not sold out already, they're going to be. So I would grab those if you need them, the physical copies. But one other thing I wanted to mention on there is, again, we keep talking about connecting the dots, and I know that you guys have heard this a million times when you're talking to prospects, how important it is to show that you care. And people say, well, what do you mean by that? How do you do that? Well, one way to show that you care about a prospect is to ask questions. So when you do a consultation, that is part of the relationship building, because you're establishing that you care about time, but rather you're trying to find what their needs are so that you can, provide solutions that are meaningful to them through the appointment. So that's one really great way to show that you care. And it's like that again, it's an unspoken way to build a relationship. And then finally, I also wanted to add that the business spending assessment is a really powerful tool for a follow up. So even if it's for people that are not in the market for a website, maybe it's an existing client, it's a great way to show that you care and follow up 3 months after they've become a client and say, talk to me about your business overhead. I might be able to save you some money and get you some cash back, and do some comparison shopping for the spending that you're already doing to run your XYZ business. So you're again building an even stronger relationship when you do that, because you're saving and helping them earn money on stuff they're already spending to run their traditional business, and you're creating a high quality preferred customer for your shop.com website. So it's a really good follow-up tool for existing clients as well.
Yes, thank you very much, Sarah. Yeah, so this three consultation form actually helps you to qualify your appointment already, and also it acts as a follow-up tools for you to use it. Okay, so there's a checklist here for you to confirm your appointment. Just make sure your prospective clients know the time and date of the appointment, and confirm that they will be able to on a computer. Don't be surprised. You do have people who doesn't have computer and thought that you're going to just show them just through to telephone. Just want to make sure that they either have the computer or they have the iPad, to see, the back end. All right, here. So when you're ready to set up appointment, this is your back end. This is where you're going to use your sales calendar to schedule sales appointment. Well, we're going to have Linda Hill, and another excellent team leader, to show you live how to set up the appointment.
Oh, hi everyone. The process is very straightforward, and if you haven't, show my screen. Okay. Okay, so my screen is seen, right? Okay, so if you haven't set appointment, before, you can actually access your web center through your back office. On franchise business, if you go into the home page, if you look under my account, and right here is your web center. Then you access web center, it will lead you to this page. If you click login, it will lead to right where you set the appointments.
Linda, sorry, I think you're sharing your desktop, not your screen. So,
can you see my screen?
That's good. We're good. Go.
Okay. So how can I minimize this? I'll minimize this. Okay, good. So, and you can see right here, when you go to the home page, right on top, schedule sales appointment. Okay, so it's a very user-friendly process. You just follow the the process. The first one is create appointment. So you want to click which one you are making appointment for. I'm gonna go for sales appointment for website. Okay, and it's not a digital marketing. Unless it's digital marketing, you can book that appointment on the computer as well. And you click next, and this will be your information, and it's generally automatically stored in the computer, so it will show up right away. So we go to the next step. So generally you can actually, if you have a contact, there's two ways for you to get their contact information into your back end. One way is you do it by manually, and which I'm not going to show here, or you can do go to your website, the Web Center portal, and they can build a website there, and their information will be captured through that there, and then it will be automatically showing up under your customer manager and contacts as well. So here, or you can just, when you had that contact, you can just create a new contact right here. That's what we're gonna do here. So next, and I'm just gonna put some name there, some potential people I was talking to, but it's not gonna be 100%, real. Melissa, this is actually Miller. I'm making this up right now. First name is true, and her company is called Print Weiss. Okay, and she is the owner here. So you just fill in the blanks. She's the owner, only owner. And Sauce, how do you know her? I know her through networking, so I just put other right there. So location, and you set a time zone. Generally, when you have your web center backend, it will ask you to set up your time zone. So I already set up as a New York time zone. And the spoken language English, we all know we make Spanish, Chinese, English sites, so you can change the language there. So her phone number, I'm just gonna make up a phone number here, 800-860-233-4555. Okay, and you put her email in, melanie@print.com. Okay, this is all made up. And her address, I'm gonna put in some address there. No, it's gonna have to fill. 30. City, Hartford, and the state is Connecticut. So you basically just put in all the information. Maybe I should use a different. I hope it let me go because I just put a zip. That's not real. So you just put all the information, the contact information there after you had the qualified appointment, and you put it in there, and we go to next. So her name is Melanie, and she's the owner. And this number will be the contact number they will call during the appointment. So I'm gonna put that number right there, and make sure you have all the decision makers to be there. If it's 2 people going to be attending the phone, you can add their number and name it as well. So here is only 1 person, so I'm going to go for the next page. And the website name, I'm just going to call it Printwise. Okay. And on this step, we actually generate a demo site for them. So it doesn't have to be very fancy. You just put the company name and the website name there, and you can choose. We have 5 different ones. You can choose anyway. I'll just go for a general business, and if it's a restaurant, you can choose restaurant. So we just choose this one. Looks good, so we go for next. So this way, during the appointment, the sales rep will have a demo site to show them. Already in use. Okay, print Visor. Because she built a demo on my site, so it's already in use. So we just put the name in there. We'll go for the next step. I'm sorry, it's a little slow.
Don't feel bad, Linda. That happened to me this afternoon too.
Okay, so it's created successfully. So as you can see, this is the information if you want to print out, and I believe they will. You want to print out or take a note, because this is how they can get access to the backend, so they can show the whole platform and marketing solution to the prospect as their demo site. And the next step, this step is a great step. Like this is when you set the price, and before you really, after you had that conversation, you decide how much money you want to set this price point for this potential business owner, and their budget. So generally, this is why I said a default number. And if you want to, most of us, I use design team. Most of us will use a design team because we're not designers, and they make beautiful designs. So you can choose a package, and this is the most package I use and most often. And depends on who your clients are, so you make that decision, and it will show you here how much profit is there. And after you had this conversation, it's also good to ask them what's their budget. If they are like people who are kind of their business have a low budget on things, maybe you want to consider to give them a down payment, because some people don't want to pay all at once. They want to pay a little bit at the beginning, or pay the rest to the end. But we have 2 options, either a single front payment or down payment plus 3 months payments. We don't charge any extra fees, so it's a great feature for the business to use, so they can pay little by little, and so it doesn't seem like too much cost for them. And then you can decide that after you have a conversation with them. If you feel they will be okay with a single front payment, put it over there. I generally just do the single front payment because depends on unless your website price is really high, most business they can afford a couple $1,000s. And the next one, this is where you put your BVs, and you can also set your, I have a default BV where it goes every time I make a sale, and I change them together every month. And right now it's all over there, and you can always change. You put either your own number or your distributor, or either whichever organization, the person you want to help, and where you need the BVs, you can put in there and choose the centers where you are. So this one's already set because that's where I'm going, and we go to next step. So here is the time when you choose the, the dates. Generally, we know we have a time zone difference between us and Las Vegas. So you consider, make sure your appointment is setting the right time zone difference, because I did once in the wrong time zone difference, but our sales team is very accommodating. They actually call back later on. So, so you can see it's right here. You can choose the date, and I'm going to make a 17th Friday for appointment. And then you can choose a time. So I usually do the 11 a.m. because we have a time zone difference between us and Las Vegas. So that's the earliest appointment I usually make because that's their 8 o'clock a.m. appointments. And then you go for next. So it's all good. So you make sure that you're professional and your name is there and verify it, and you go for next. The reminder will be sent to email to you and your potential clients same time. And they also send a day on that day prior. So prior, the comments here. This is when you collect information, when you did that 15 minutes consultation and with your little form. So you want to comment like, so for me, I always ask clients, what's important for the websites, how do you like the the web marketing solutions. And I also ask them to have certain questions. And also when I make this appointment, I also have some questions that I may not be able to answer. I wrote it down as well. I wrote it down here. And I also write down the site, if they have existing website, that those information are critical for our sales appointment to really sales team to make that sale. I put down anything you think is important. So do they have a current website? What their current website look like? What's their complaint? What's their pain? And also, of course, and right here after we also have the the consultation form. That's a great thing to keep your conversation on point with them when you do the consultation. So all the documentation there, if you add right here, you can add the file right here by attaching either a JPEG file or a PDF file, and then so you don't even need to just see attached. And what happens is this will help our sales team greatly to have a great conversation with our with the potential clients to really ensure the success of the sale. Okay, so they can talk about addressing their pain. So if you say that the person's complaining about Google, they're not getting out to Google, and their Facebook is not working, or their website is just not attracting enough people, not generating lead for them. So we can, stress on those points and make sure that our web solution is really a great, strong point for them, to have. So I have to write something up here apparently. So I'm just going to HTTP. I just want to do something there so they can let me go for next, okay? So here, this is the last step when you confirm this is really a qualified appointment, and you have scheduled a formal appointment, so understand the prospect will be there for you instead of no-show, and whoever making decisions will be there too. All parties in will make a decision, it has to be there, because otherwise after we showed all the thing, they said, oh, we can't make a decision, we need someone else to see this. So you have to make another appointment. So this way you save a lot of time. Yes, you have prepared to allow the product specialist to ask the prospect, make decisions. So I recommend you, if you have done appointments, print this page out. So before you really book that appointment, make sure these are all done. Your verified prospect will be available to talk on the telephone, and at the same time have internet access. And you understand your responsibility is to confirm appointment with prospect at least 24 hours before the appointment. and you allow to our sales team follow up for you. So it's awesome. So you gave that. And so all these things that we talked about booking the qualified appointment, and you just confirm it. And so you also allow the product specialist to really make that sale. If the owner wants to negotiate price, you gave them that that access to really bring down the price that you have asked for to
Okay.
ensure that sale, because it's better to make money than nothing.
So if
Okay.
you set the price at something and they can bring it down a little bit and help make a sale, they will never sell a website for less than $9.99 without your permission. So that's the good news. But this is an important part of the process. So thank you, Linda, so much. I'm going to switch it back over to Shwen. And I wanted to take the time and really allow Linda to walk you through that process so that you could see each step, because we have so many brand new web center owners on with us tonight that really the process is pretty quick and painless. It's mostly contact information and uploading all of the informed discovery that you came up with when you were meeting with your prospect and qualifying them.
Yes, thank you, Sarah. Awesome, Linda. It was a very, very clear process that Linda has shown you how to set up the sales appointment. So now you have already set up a sales appointment. Now what? Sit back, relax. So on that day of the appointment, your product specialist, or we can call them sales support, okay, they're going to call you a few minutes before the appointment to just review the notes. Sometimes don't forgive them if they can't call you a few minutes before, okay, because they might be tied up with the other appointment. We have times where the product specialist was like almost a little bit late. Don't worry, just text your client, your potential client, and say, hey, we're going to be on call, we're just running a little bit late. They are very forgiving. And so what you want to do is you want to communicate with your product specialist, normally just 1 or 2 words. Hey, this prospective client is my chamber member. Okay, and then allow the product specialist to go through the whole demo. What you want to do is just introduce the product specialist. You want to edify them. And important thing is you have to mute yourself. I don't talk during the appointment. Even if I've seen that my potential client might misunderstood what the product specialist want them to do, I just keep quiet unless my name is called. If the product specialist say, hey, Chuan, can you help us with this? Then I'll say, okay, then I'll unmute myself, because our product specialists, they're very well trained. Within that 45 minutes, they are able to set up rapport, create rapport with your clients, and they were able to talk through, and you just sit back and learn and watch. Now, there's an important thing here. Most of the product specialists will use GoToMeeting to do the demo. While you're watching it, you may came to a point that you wanted to talk to the product specialist. So if you are familiar with GoToMeeting, you can send a private message to the product specialist, but be very careful and you don't hit reply all. Be very careful that that is a private message that you're sending to the product specialist, okay, and not to the whole field. All right, enjoy this process. Now, so what are we going to expect our product specialist to do? They're going to conduct a thorough customized presentation for your prospective client. I really, really enjoy all those demo that they conducted. Even if I didn't close it, I still learn a lot from them. Okay, you see how they ask data mining question. You learn how they build rapport. You see how they negotiate the price. And even to follow up with your prospect. Okay, I love them too. Yeah, they are the one. They're in the same line as us. All right, they wanted to help us close the sales, but there's something that we have to know. Don't expect them to travel to your prospect and present the platform in person, and don't expect them to design the site for your client. Okay, and don't expect them to provide technical support for your clients and all this and that. All right, the sales support will be available during working hours, and if they need some other technical support, not the sales support is going to help them, the tech support will be able to help them. All right, we do have 24 hours 7-day services just for technical support. But anyway, just sit back and relax and watch, just like watching the sales rep taking your clients out for a test drive. All right, then once the site demo is done, you may or may not close it. So what you're going to do is during the process of following up, you want to keep communicating with the product specialist. The product specialist will leave you a number to contact. For example, I have a chiropractor. She has seen the demo, but she's not ready to make purchase on the spot. So what they do is the product specialist will ask her, is it okay if I follow up with you like within a week? She said, yeah. So please call me on Wednesday, next Wednesday. Cool. During this period of time, you may or may not get in touch with the chiropractors. To me, I usually do a post call after the demo, and I'll ask my potential clients, what do you think about the demo just now? And then, try to get some feedback from them. Any information that I've gotten from my potential clients, I will communicate with the product specialist. So me and the product specialist, I just want to make sure that we're on the same page, okay? So I don't want to confuse them. I don't want to have like my product specialist call my potential client and me calling the potential client again, asking the same questions. Get what I mean? You're going to have a notification system at the back end saying that so and so will be contacted on a certain day. All right. And if you're doing your own follow-up, you want to stay organized. That's where this 12 weeks action plans come very handy. Okay, you want to schedule a follow-up call. You want to make sure that when you call, it has to be a logical time. Don't call the restaurant owner at 7 p.m. at night or 12 p.m., 12 noon. That is the busiest hours, okay? And even when you set up an appointment, just ask them, what is the best time when I call you that your list interrupted? Yeah. I had people who didn't believe in me and set appointment at 12 p.m. And the restaurant owner can't even get to the call, and that's a waste of our product specialist time. Okay, and be persistent. Respect your potential client's timing. If they are not ready, never mind. Do not be pushy. Just be there. Show that you really care. You want to know why. And is this a process? Because we are also educating them. We are also allowing them to see what we have. It may or may not be a good fit for them, but if they see that you're very professional, even if they don't want it or they don't need the solutions, they will be able to give you some referrals, okay? And always ask for a preferred time to call. We have clients like dentists. Dentists are very, very busy. If they miss the call and just say, oh, I understand that you must be doing very well with the business. What is a good time for me to call you? Ask them, okay? And be very specific. Why do you want to call them? Is it okay if I call you next Wednesday? I'd like to know, about certain things. Just let them know why you want to call them. Yeah. Okay. Sarah, there you go.
Thank you, Shwen. Okay, so I'm going to round this out for everybody tonight. I was answering questions too in the question box as you guys were going, which was really cool. So first of all, thank you so much to Shwen and Linda. It was really nice to hear your perspective on everything. And it's really great too. I mean, Shwen has been a web center owner for longer than I have, and she's been a mentor to me. So it was really great to learn from you tonight, Shwen. And then Linda is up and coming, creating sales in our area and just really leading by example. So just thank you guys so much for that. So with that being said, the qualification of your appointments really comes down to very simple. This is the biggest tip, is don't rush the process. Do not rush to schedule a full-on demonstration appointment with a product specialist until that prospect is ready for that to happen. The worst thing you can do is set an appointment prematurely where they feel like they're being sold something, and they feel like you really haven't listened to them. So when we mention how important it is to listen to your prospects and see if there's a way we can fill their needs, it comes down to really just connecting the dots, asking the right questions, and making sure that you're going through those 6 areas of qualification so that when those appointments are scheduled, you have the highest chance for success. That's why those 15-minute consults have, for me, become not just something that I do sometimes, but part of my process. My process is that simple. Talk to prospects, get to know them, ask a few questions. Then I book them into a 15-minute consult, and then I will book them into a full-on appointment. That 15-minute consult is on my radar every single time because I know that if I do that, I can make sure that the appointment is tailored to things that are important to them. In sales, that's called hot buttons. And when you guys do a 15-minute consultation, you're identifying hot buttons through a process called informed discovery. And the more hot buttons you can unveil, the more opportunities you're giving the product specialist to sell not just one product, but maybe even more than one. All right, so for this week, to apply that lesson, if you're a Web Center minor, then I want you to make it a goal of yours to conduct at least one 15-minute consultation as a pre-appointment or, as just an appointment. One 15-minute consult. You're also going to follow up with that 15-minute consult by edifying the product specialist and how they might be able to solve some of the challenges or needs that were discovered in that 15-minute consult. Of course, that is only if you feel that that's necessary and appropriate. If you have an appointment, you're going to confirm it. And then as you're confirming, once you've confirmed that appointment and that appointment is scheduled, you're going to look at that appointment, go back to that initial chart that Shwen showed you on the second slide, 6 areas of qualified appointments, and just assess how qualified is that appointment really. If you're a major, you're going to go ahead and conduct that research. You're going to write down the questions you want to ask. And your goal for the week is to conduct at least 3 15-minute consults, along with confirming your appointments and assessing the quality. If you're professional, you're going to research and define the hot buttons, and your goal should be to do at least one a day. If you're doing this full time and this is your profession, then 1 consult a day could lead to a number of brand new clients that are in the funnel. So with that being said, just a few quick announcements. Yes, the sessions are recorded. They're on the 411 site. You should have been assigned your team leader, and they should have reached out to you by now. If you registered for the contest after Thursday evening, then you will get your assignment sometime in the morning, on Tuesday morning. So on Monday, we download the list, and then Tuesday morning, I'm redoing it. If you wanted to know more about the Pro program, that is recorded and on meeton.com, and that program is live. And like I said earlier, we had less than 50 in stock when I checked on several of the sales aids. So that e-news goes out on Thursday, and you definitely don't want to miss out on that. So make sure that you choose the correct path for the week and make it a great week. And as always, if you have any questions, don't wait for Monday. Go ahead and send your questions on the Facebook group or shoot me an email.